This is a review of the Ivation 30 Pint Dehumidifier. Inside the box, you'll find the dehumidifier itself, a brief instruction user guide, and a continuous drain hose that you can see off to the side there. You'll also find a piece of paper that has the 1-year warranty. I own several sizes of dehumidifiers in my home, and I'm very familiar with using them. This is a good one. This is the 30 pint size dehumidifier. It's ideal for a small basement, the main floor of a home, or for the upper floor area upstairs. I like this humidifier for many reasons, but one of the main reasons is it has a dual digital display. It's very nice that you can see the ambient temperature and also the ambient relative humidity. If you press the timer button here, you can go in and set the timer mode, or you can leave it displaying the temperature. Once you set the timer mode, it'll go back to the temperature reading in 10 seconds. Here you have the ambient relative humidity. You have an up and down arrow where you can press and set it at 30 to 90% relative humidity. And you can set it to the adjustment you like. I like to have it set on 40, and it's just simply that easy to set up. After 10 seconds, it goes back to the ambient relative humidity that is in the room. This is also a full-featured unit. It has a lot of benefits and features. Another key feature is ability to operate at low temperatures. That's important when you use a dehumidifier in a basement where it can get cool in the winter. Dehumidifiers can actually freeze if the ambient temperature of the room gets below about 55, 56 degrees. This one here actually has an auto defrost mode that defrosts any frost or ice that gets on the coils. This allows the dehumidifier to operate all the way down to 41 degrees F, which is amazing and exactly what you need for a basement. This is important to consider when buying a dehumidifier for use in a cold basement. If one of my older units didn't do this, it would freeze up solid, completely full of ice. This unit won't do that. This Ivation unit will actually operate from 41 degrees F to 89.6 degrees F. Relative humidity in my home can vary between 35 and 65% depending on what floor of the home you're on and what time of year. Ideally, the relative humidity reading should be between 30 and 50%. High relative humidity causes mold, mildew, and increased viruses and colds, and low relative humidity can cause dry sinuses and dry skin. The unit will drop the humidity in the room pretty quickly, but the bucket that you'll see later on fills up in between 8 to 12 hours. So when that happens, you have to continuously take it and empty the bucket. I like this unit that it is Energy Star compliant and UL listed. It operates on 115 volts AC at 60 Hertz, and it draws 3.3 amps. As I mentioned, it's rated to remove up to 30 pints of water per day. That's 3.75 gallons per day. If you have a basement, you're going to have to consider using a continuous drain port on the unit to drain the water in a continuous manner into a drain or sump pump pit. This unit is easy to set up with the digital push buttons. Very nice control panel. I'll go over it in a second. When the tank gets full, an LED will actually come on and tell you that, and you have to remove it and empty it. It also has adjustable fan speeds to control the noise level that you might hear. It's a very easy unit to program. Across the top here, you'll see the control panel. This is the power button. This is the LED that tells you that the reservoir is full, and this tells you the unit's in the defrost mode, which means the room should be relatively cool, and you'll see that if it's cool over here. It has a dual speed setting. Here it's in the low fan, here it's in the high fan. Here you have a timer setting that you can set it to come on and stay on for a certain time limit. This is the time limit indication. When you set it, this is the ambient temperature. This is the relative humidity. And then here you can ramp it up and down like I've shown you already to do the setting you want. And this allows you to push this button and switch it between degrees F and degrees C. So it's very, very easy to program and set up. Here you can see the removable reservoir. It holds 1.3 gallons of water. You simply grasp it by the sides. There's 2 handles here. You pull it forward. I wanted to point out this piece of tape. I've put it back in there so you can see it. Make sure that you remove that tape because it holds the float down, and you want the float to move freely when it's in operation. This reservoir also has a carrying handle that you can carry it and take it to any place like a drain or a toilet to dump the water out. In addition, if you look at this, you'll see this indicator. which lets you look inside and see the water level through this clear portion of the reservoir. When I pull this reservoir out and set it aside, you'll see right here, as I pop down, is an air filter. This is a microbial filter that's designed to catch microbes, dust, pollen, and lint that may be in the air. That's important. It keeps the dust and fibers from getting inside of the unit here and clogging up the cooling fins inside the unit. This filter should be cleaned about every 2 weeks. You simply pull it out, take it and vacuum it with a vacuum cleaner, or you can even wash it with slightly warm soapy water and rinse it well and dry it and put it back in. It comes out very easily and it goes in very easily, so it's not a big task to do. On here you'll see 4 casters. The casters come in a separate plastic bag and you have to snap them in place. It literally takes just a few seconds to do that. And once that's done, the unit rolls very easily on a smooth floor like hardwood or tile. If you're going to use it on carpet, it is a little bit heavier and you're going to have to pick it up. There are handles here on the side, as you can see here. They're just little notches, one on each side. They're not very deep and they're a little bit slick, so just take care when you pick it up. It does weigh about 35 pounds. On the back side, you'll see a continuous drain port. There's multiple threads on here. I've already loosened it. I'm going to take that off. And here you'll see a plug that keeps the water inside of it. If you want to do a continuous drain, you can take this hose that comes with the unit. You can see it has a piece of tape over it. I haven't removed it. There's a gasket here. You take this little nozzle that you unscrewed and you push the hose through there. Move it all the way along to the end here. And now you can take this piece here with the tape removed and screw it into place. And this rubber gasket will seal so that it doesn't drip. And now this hose here is 39.37 inches long. That's 1 meter. You can also use a garden hose. I've taken a garden hose adapter and screwed onto this and it fit perfectly. So you can either use this hose or a garden hose and use a longer hose if you like. I do want to point out that regardless of what you use, plugging this, using the hose that came with it or a garden hose, make sure that it's tightened down properly and doesn't drip, because water will drip onto your floor or carpet. I also want to point out that this has a 3-prong AC power cord and the cord is 72 inches long. The pros of this unit: it's smaller than most, so it's easier to move around, it works well, and very easy to set up as I've shown you. It's relatively quiet for its size. As I mentioned, it works well and quickly removes water and lowers the humidity. It's a powerful unit designed for use in basements if you want to, with low temperatures of operation down to 41 degrees F. On the con side, the bucket only holds 1.3 gallons, so it fills up pretty quickly. That takes 8 to 12 hours, sometimes only 6. So that's just something to consider. It's not really a con against this unit because any dehumidifier you have of this size will have the same problem unless you use it in the continuous drain system. An important thing is, as I've mentioned, make sure to remove all the packing tape on the unit, especially the piece of tape that goes across the reservoir float. Also, once you unpack it, make sure the unit sits upright on the floor for several hours. I actually let mine sit for more than 12 hours. This allows the refrigerant to settle down into the compressor and operate properly when it's turned on. Overall, I like the unit a lot. It quickly removes water, and it actually makes the basement that it's in feel warmer because it does exhaust some heat. The nice thing about it is it takes the humidity out of the air, so it lets your body cool naturally, and it can actually make other parts of your home feel cooler because it removes the humidity from the air. I rated this unit at 5 stars. I like the fact that it displays not only relative humidity, but the ambient temperature, and the fact that it has a defrost mode. Those are key features for me. I'd like to tell you that I was supplied a sample for test and evaluation. A review was not promised to the supplier in exchange for the sample, but I stated that if I provided a review, it would be fair and honest. This review is done by JJ CEO.